Poynton season kicked off last weekend at Lower Machen in South Wales, and it was the first time they'd had racing there in 6 years since before COVID. It was actually one of my favourite tracks as a point-to-point jockey many years ago. And it was great to have racing back there, and they were well rewarded for having it back on. With, I think there was 56 runners on a 6-race card and over 2,000 in attendance there. So it was a very successful day. It absolutely bucketed it down for most of the day. But I think because we've been so short of rain within racing in the last few months, I think there was even an appetite for the rain, strangely enough, which I think is probably past now that it also rained at Cheltenham yesterday. But it was a great day. And then probably the highlight of the day, and a new initiative in Poynton, is the GB Poynton bonus series for young horses. And that was the first one of a 15 race series, which makes you eligible for a bonus under rules down the line. And that was won by Baron de Brizet for Luca Morgan and owned by Paige Topley. It's French bred, so the bonus that Baron de Brizet is eligible for isn't quite so much as 15 grand if you win basically a class 1, 2 or 3. There are sort of certain conditions you have to meet, but so that, I think that's going to the Goff Skull Cup sale on the 29th of November. So it's an impressive winner, and it was a good card all round. So it's a good day.
Are we seeing more, sort of more flashy pointers, if you like, over here, and they're being, they're likely to achieve higher prices? Maybe not akin to what we see in Ireland. I know it's a slightly different scene, but is it sort of gathering traction on that front? Younger horses being bought for big money and campaigned under rules proper?
Yeah, I can't hear you that well. I think I got the gist of what you're saying. So, is it going to be more sort of commercial, like as in Ireland? Is that the sort of thing you were going?
Well, yeah, just those, horses that achieve a lot here, going to catch the eye of potential buyers at these sales.
Yeah. So I think this series in particular is to drive that side of it. I think Poynton obviously has had a tough few years and sort of needs to consolidate. And one of the things it needs to do, I think, is become more commercially viable. And there are sort of growing teams of, training operations who are doing it as a commercial endeavor, really. And I think this series is really good because obviously it incentivizes people to buy these horses at the sale. But I think the sort of side effect of it is that if a horse to buy one of these races, is likely to be stronger form than, any other maiden. So it sort of just boosts the form and, makes it sort of more compelling, I suppose, for people to buy horses out of these races.
I managed to go pointing twice last season, and I was struck by how many people were there. Like, as in a pleasant, it was, one of them was absolutely rammed. And I mean, it still seems to be catching people's imagination. So, a nice day out pointing is, I mean, you've obviously got to have a bit of weather to help on that front. But there was loads for families to do as well. I thought it was a really well-attended couple of days that I went to anyway.
Yeah, I think one thing I've really noticed over the last few years, just going to point-to-points here and there as a spectator for a day out, is that there's always a real appetite from the local community to attend these point-to-points. And a lot of them are once-a-year events. And, where I'm from in West Wales and Pembrokeshire, there's one point-to-point on per year. So the whole community is drawn there. It's not like, say, not to pick on all-weather racing at Kempton, for example, where, there's way too much on for a consumer to want to go and visit every time there's racing on. But with point-to-pointing, there is that sort of draw to have that one day out. And obviously other courses are on sort of several times a year, but it still sort of fits in with that supply and demand thing where, there's more appetite than the racing is on. So I think as long as Poynton is strong from within and can have lots of runners, because when you have sort of 2 and 3 runner races on throughout a card, the spectacle isn't there. But I think if you can get big runner fields, which GB Poynton are really working hard to sort of help and support and bolster the sort of sport from within, I think the appetite is ultimately still there from the public to go and watch.
Yeah. Can't take your dog to compete in a dog show at Kempton. No, but you can when you go pointing.
Should be GB Poynton's tagline, that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if you have a dog or not, and you want to go pointing, this is where you can go. Where are we? Dorset this Sunday, Cottesmore Sunday the 23rd, Dunsmore Racing Club. You can go to Hexham on Saturday the 29th, Horseheath, and then Larkhill on Sunday the 30th. Will you be at any of those, Adam?
Oh, I'm struggling to hear. What did you say there, sorry?
I was asking if you were going to be there, but I'm just going to take it that you are there.
At one of those. My next day out is going to be Chaddesley Corbett on the 7th of December. But the GB Pointing sort of social media team, I think they're going to be out on the weekend of the 23rd. So I think they may even go to both meetings. So obviously that's a new initiative to sort of give more, put more spotlight on pointer pointing and make it more draw to people to go as well. Is the social media sort of angle that GB Pointing are pushing, and yeah, I'm glad to be a part of that this year. And yeah, I'm hoping to attend, 20 meetings throughout the winter. So really looking forward to it.